Okay, so fun episode today on some of the best tech, cool tech, dope tech, whatever you want to call it, hype tech. We'll call it a hype tech episode. Some of the best stuff that has come into the studio in the past month. I also have some giveaway updates, which I owe you guys, which we'll get to in a second. But the first one, you cannot start off with a cooler or a hyper piece of tech than a collab with a fellow tech YouTuber. This is the Mchos times Unbox Therapy keyboard. The specific model being the UT98, and Unbox Therapy, he's a legend in the tech space. He also is from the same city of Toronto, so had to give him a big shout out. He became super famous when like the iPhone Bengate was going really viral. That like boosted him up to one of the top creators in the space. Super, super cool. First time I've seen a collab for a keyboard. And Mchos keyboards, I've reviewed them in the past. They've been really great for kind of the budget level. Some of the best mechanical keyboards in the space. But what makes this so unique, this is the world's first 98% silent mechanical keyboard. So typically mechanical keyboard, when you type on it, you hear the large or the loud clanking sounds. This has the Silent Peach V3 switches. So we'll do a bit of an audio test right here. So right up by the microphone. You get all the benefits of having a full mechanical keyboard, obviously without that sound. And if you are someone that is typing all day, you're using your keyboard, you have people around you, maybe the last thing that they want to hear is that clankiness of louder switches. So obviously the Unbox Therapy collab, you can see his little logo right here. X that by Mchos. It's got a two-tone finish. They have another different colorway in orange as well, which I was kind of eyeing, but this is a bit more simple. And you can see a fun little escape key. Lou is always famous for wearing his hat, so that is on the top. Some great premium features live on this side. You actually have a dedicated calculator key, so if you're a big Excel user, you're crunching spreadsheets all the time, this is a quick way to launch that. It has an aluminum slider for volume and a full numpad on the side. Once again, if you are using numbers all day, it's great. And they even have a full-size zero. Once again, if you're adding zeros to your number pads and making a lot of bucks, that is always welcome. You can connect this in a couple different ways. So obviously on the back, you've got connectors via USB-C. There's a little dongle connector that lives in here, which is magnetic, which is nice. So you can plug that into your computer, or you can also connect via Bluetooth for the third option. Honestly, Mchos keyboards have always been some of my favorites, like I said. This one's currently on Kickstarter for 99 bucks, so you can pick one up for relatively cheap. And I just popped off that little escape key, so you can see that creamy peach V3 switch, which has that really nice colorway right there for you to check out. So the next hype or cool product that's come in is the TickNote. Thanks to them for sponsoring this episode, actually. So check this out. It's this cool little AI piece that actually has MagSafe built in that lives, say, on the back of your iPhone. So you can do two main things with this. You can transcribe not only what you're talking about in a conversation. This has 22 hours of battery life. You can store up to 434 hours of, I was gonna say footage, but that's a voice. It also slides out, and inside of the box, it actually comes with its own little ring that you can connect it to other things. And what sets the TickNote apart as well is the web-based platform. You can use it in conjunction with notes that you've already saved. So it's really great if you're trying to be productive and want a fuller OS experience. So I'll quickly turn this on from the back. You can see this little button right here, and it's got two different modes that you can use the slider to choose from. When it's slid down, this is in speaker mode, so you just need to place this, say, on a table when you're at a meeting, or even when you're listening to a professor talk, say you're like a student in class. And then if you just press down the button and kind of hold that down, it will start recording. So as an example, we're talking about this video right now. We want to kind of chat about some of the dopest tech that comes into the studio. Stopping the recording from there, just launching the TickNote app. You can actually see it's transferring in real time right now. You can see the main overview of that quick little conversation we had, the introduction to what TickNote was, and it even gives you to-do lists, AI suggestions. It gives you a full-on transcript. It gives you a mind map. You can actually play back the actual recording. Comes into the studio. We want to break down each of the cool products that we're gonna see. One of the first ones is the TickNote. And then from there, you can use their AI. So you can see chat with Shadow, and you can ask specific questions. And you can see, once again, in real time, it gives you a further breakdown or a bit more in depth about each of those products that we were talking about. So that's super cool. That's kind of option one with the recording. The second one, so say you're on the back, you flip this little switch up so you can see that little red logo right there. Now you can use this within a conversation. So you can see that same thing happening. So say you're on a phone call. We were actually chatting the other day about what happened at the Coldplay concert, the entire debacle with the CEO being caught. We had that recorded. You can see that little discussion here about that CEO, which I saw he actually stepped down from his post. Completely wild to me that in his statement that he said that private moment shouldn't have been shared. Like, bro, come on, you were cheating on your wife. Anyways, that is what it is. That's a separate topic, but cool little AI piece of tech. And once again, link will be down below. Okay, so next hype thing, this one is really cool. So this is a limited edition Microsoft Surface Laptop 7, but what's really cool is this is the 50th anniversary of Microsoft. They've come out with a special little collab, coming out with only 50 of these laptops. So you can't technically buy one. They're only through special giveaways, which I'm trying to get Microsoft to hook one of you guys up with one of these. So you can actually see on the back here, the little story about Microsoft, how they started out, which is really cool. But what makes this unique is some of the gold lettering or some of the gold logos, which you see on the box, which you see on the actual laptop lid itself. Once you actually open this, first is this special golden wallpaper, but also right here you have the Microsoft logo from 1975 etched into the palm rest, which I think is super cool. Other than that, the colorway is black, which I think once again is pretty unique. And like I said, there are only 50 of these laptops that exist throughout the entire world. Really, really hype. Kind of ties into the episode that I have one of them here. So switching to some mobile devices, 3 have come out in the past month that I've got to check out. This also ties into the giveaway. So the first one is the Oppo Reno 14. I was actually just in Croatia shooting some content for them around this. The giveaway winner will actually flash on screen right now. I will also announce that in that video. I forgot to record that when I was in Croatia, but it will be in the comments. This is your guys' like official winner post who won. Congrats. Dope phone in the mid-range kind of segment, but there's also another one that just came that kind of competes with it. This is the Poco F7. The backslash design of this is what makes it super cool. So it's almost like a two-tone effect when you have like the silver mirror with some of the black surroundings. You actually have the Snapdragon logo right here. So this is rocking the Snapdragon 8S Gen 4. It's got a 6,500 milliamp hour battery. It's got a 50 megapixel camera system, which for the price gives you some really awesome specs. And I know in one of my last videos, I compared this to say the iPhone 16, which is like the standard. It's $1,000+ That is a lot of money for what you are getting, like a 60 hertz panel, pretty shitty battery. It's actually wild what you can get on the Android side of things. You're paying like $500, so close to like half of the price, which is, yeah, pretty impressive. So really dope phones in like that mid-range segment, I think, for 2025. And the last one, this guy is on the opposite side in terms of price especially. So this is the brand new Samsung Galaxy Fold 7. I was just, once again, in New York kind of shooting this. I have an entire video if you want to check it out, but this phone is $2,500. Really expensive for a folding device, but it is one of the thinnest now on the market, especially compared to the Fold 6. This is like around 20-ish% thinner. In conjunction with this, I also got to grab the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, which in my opinion, across all of the Galaxy Watches, this one is my favorite of the bunch. You can see here it has the new design, very similar to the Galaxy Watch Ultra, but just in a slimmer and thinner profile. I feel when I wear the Ultra, like it's just way too bulky on my wrist. But this one has that good old rotating bezel. So I really like this feature for a smartwatch. I still can't get around like the square watch face that say Apple has. I think a watch, you know, I'm wearing one right now, should be circular. That's like my own hot take on it. You can see how good that looks on the wrist, and it even has this nice, like I'll say traditional watch band. It's almost like this like faux leather with some of the stitching around the outside. I think this looks super, super clean. One of my favorite, I would say, smartwatch designs, and now it has that clicky rotating bezel. I think that is like the chef's kiss for smartwatches. So the next little hype piece, this is from a company called Bionic. So they make milled aluminum accessories. This one specifically is a stand holder for AirPods Max. So this is milled completely out of one piece of aluminum. Like I said, you can see that the little logo, Bionic, and I wonder if that's, you know, like A15 Bionic, A18 Bionic, if that has any play on Apple's processing chips. If it does, pretty cool. And then on the back, you can just see where it's actually made. So that is crafted or assembled in France with love from Paris. So I think that's pretty cool, but it gives you that heftiness and that premium feel that you kind of associate with Apple products. So like say this was on your desk, You just have like my AirPods here. Those simply just click in. And I think that's such a cool and minimal way to display your AirPods. They actually have a different connector. So I've got like my first gen AirPods because these ones are like custom in orange. You can actually just with a magnet swap out the little connector. Depending which model you have, if you have the newer AirPods, you can swap that out for USB-C, and it simply just attaches via magnet, and then you need to just stick your AirPods in. So if you're looking for a cool stand to display your AirPods, they also make different other aluminum accessories that I'm hoping to get my hands on. This is like super premium, but I feel they're very unique in the space. So next is this little charging case. And this one is from Belkin, and I've been playing my Nintendo Switch 2 a little bit more, not as much as I'd like, but in case you are a fan of that, this has two different functions. So first off, it is a travel case, but it also has a built-in power bank, so you can charge your Switch while it's kind of like sitting idle, which is kind of cool. So this is a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, which you can actually just kind of remove from the case. It has its own display screen, so you could theoretically just charge other devices if you want with this, but when you are in need of an extra little juice up for your Switch, you just kind of stick it back in and then charge up your Switch. So you can see right there, it's charging. I'm currently at 96%, and like I said, this also serves as a little travel case, so you can actually slot games in as well. I did just get the new Donkey Kong Bonanza game. We can unbox this one together. And in my opinion, out of all the games that I tested on like launch, this was the most fun one. And this is actually my first cartridge game. I saw this was also trending. Technically, Switch games are coated in some weird flavor to like deter kids from eating it. Oh, that's bitter. Yeah, that has a... I can't believe I just did that. That has a really bitter taste to it. If you actually know what it's coated in, let me know. But you can see this actually has little slots for your games. So you can see right there, my good old saliva coated Donkey Kong game is now slotted in, and when I get the extra time, I will play that and let you know how good the game is. So last but not least, it's kind of like tech related. This is like a little carbonated water thing, so it combines my like lifestyle into pieces of tech. So this is the Airflow carbonated water cartridge. You can turn your own like water bottle, so this is just filled with like regular like tap water. You can now carbonate your water through these rechargeable pods, and when I say rechargeable, they're technically like a couple times use, but once you've used the containers, you can actually send them back in to get them refilled, so it helps recycle them. You're not creating a lot of waste. So one of the cartridges is actually already inside, and from the first time, so I'll actually just take off this little packaging since we can experience this one together again. When I press this, this should, oh, give your water some carbonation. Now you're supposed to give it a little bit of a shake. Okay, you can actually see some of the bubbles there. Once again, I'll do my first little taste test. I'm like a sparkling water connoisseur. And that has the fizziness of carbonated water. So that is super cool. But now that I've got a better understanding, you just, once again, give that a press and then give that a good old little shake to get that carbonation going. I do like my water very like carbonated, like almost like tangy. The bubbles in my mouth. That is, I think, my favorite piece of tech throughout this entire episode. But let me know which one your fave one was. I know that we had a ton of different products to kind of go through. Yeah, some really hype tech, and I will try to sort out some of that giveaway stuff, maybe that laptop. You saw the update for the Oppo Reno 14, and I'll catch the rest of you in one of my next episodes. Peace.